Warning, it is the opinion of the 4th Street Productions and the Working Perspectives podcast Weekend Poppin' that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You've been warned, so if you decide to listen, then don't complain like a fuck.
To be fair, everybody too, I'm about to start my sucking my own dick business. So if I can get a 35% boost on that too, just bring them over this way. Yeah. That was a wild thing to say on air. Yeah. And I believe him.
Yeah. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast, Weekend Poppin'. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the strongest of STEM, Steve Cabot, and the bad boy, the 44th father, Bern Polatski. Strong STEM, how are we today, sir?
Oh, he's feeling loose. He's seen Mikey P on the episode. There were some good fights this weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of feel a little rocky-ish, you know?
Hey, well, you're looking a little rocky-ish, I'll tell you that.
Oh, there's some out of you.
Yeah. So
take him to the zoo.
the 44th father, the 44th fanatic. How are you, Bern?
I'm feeling great, man. I just got back from a little bachelor party action. Got that Padilla interview this week. That dude makes you want to run through a wall.
Yeah.
So, I think
story.
we got a lot to talk about, I think, this week.
Nice. Well, very good. Well, you can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please get my wife off my back by liking and subscribing. This is the Working Perspectives Podcast. Let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
All right. So this week, I'll tell you, really, really good episode. Got a lot of great feedback. Really, Padilla is a great dude. Really, like, pulled himself up by his bootstraps. Really comeback story. I mean, I really liked it. Strong Sam, your thoughts? I know you and Padilla were training partners for a long time at Henzo. So, you know, and I know you knew a lot of his story, but to get some in-depth stuff, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know Mike a while now. Mike's he's a man's man, you know. Yeah. I mean, fuck you, Mike. But Mike's a man's man. So like he's one of them kids. He's never shied away from anything. I mean, he tells the story about, you know, stories about how he was like, you know, afraid to fight and how like any kid is, like, you know, I get it. But trust me, when like you said, I've seen Mike in deep water.
Yeah, he's
swimming with the best of them. So like he's just one of those kids that overcomes any type of weird situation. Doesn't matter what it is. Strong-minded person, you know. It's Now, here's the thing. I wanted to call him and ask him. I just got one issue. Okay. I see him on social media a lot, right? His gym, all that stuff. Because I follow, of course, you know, shout out his gym.
Shout out.
Great instructor. One of the best instructors you'll find around. Yeah. And so is he eating the same tacos that Canelo eats? Because we were kind of close in size. And my man's big now. Yeah. He on all the
testosterone. It's
tacos. That's it.
Yeah.
Tacos.
It's testosterone.
Damn, Mike. Kid is swole.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for you.
I'll tell you, man. He legit rolls. Like he rolls every day. Like,
dog, like I said, I follow him. I see him in the fucking gym at 5 a.m. every goddamn day, working out before he starts his day like a goddamn psychopath. You know, good for him. Yeah, good for him.
No, yeah, dude. He's dude. his gym's doing really well. He's got his own space, and like just so happy for him, man. And he's
now
overcome
one
a
other
lot.
thing I got that I do like, because me and you have this same angle, right?
Right.
So his gym is in Allentown or Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. But that area.
Whatever. That area. Lehigh Valley.
Right.
So the best wrestling in the world's in the Lehigh Valley,
Very
right?
true.
And how cocky are the Lehigh Valley fucking dickheads with how great their wrestling is, right?
They
so
let you know.
I love the fact that he put a guy like Mike, who's very, very, will tell you the deal too.
Yeah.
Is his gym's there. So I can't imagine how many like ex-Easton or Nazareth stud wrestlers that walk in there and they're like, man, I was a state runner-up. I'll beat the shit out of you. And Mike chokes them out in 4 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, dude. No, that is.
I can only imagine,
dude. It is the best when you have like, fucking Tommy Tough Guy coming in. He just gets checked, and like his ego gets left the door. That's how you really tell. I'll tell you this, and it's the same.
Good gyms police themselves. Gyms police themselves.
Must be done. 100% agree. But this is how you tell if someone's really tough, right? Is that, and it's the same thing with boxing and with Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you get humbled, right, which you will get humbled, know
For
that
sure.
you
For
will.
sure.
Doesn't matter what age you are.
Nope.
Like it'll happen at whatever time you start. You're getting humbled. That's just what it is. No one comes in there and they're the best. Doesn't happen. Everyone gets humbled. But if you come back and want to learn and then try and strive to beat that
then
person,
you get the respect.
Agreed. Very much agree, because there's a lot of guys that think they're fucking tough, but when they come in and get humbled, they're broken.
They never come back.
Break.
They can't believe that they're that big of a pussy.
Right. They can't
but
believe
I watched YouTube and it looks easy on TV.
Right. Yeah. Sure. The UFC is a cinch, right?
Yeah. I'll just punch him in the face.
Yeah.
How hard could that be?
Dude.
My mentality's crazy, bro.
Dude, I've been beating up on my brothers my whole life, bro. I know how to fight.
I get so mad, bro. I like black out, bro. All right, you're gonna get choked out, not black out. But I hear you.
Yeah, I agree that you're not conscious at the end of the evening, but I don't
know
know
we're
because
the
you
same.
blacked out because you were so
sure.
mad. That's probably not how it actually went down.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So nice. Well, good, man. No, it was awesome. I do want to bring up something else.
So Matt,
go ahead, Bern.
To that, I was going to say, because I don't know Mikey, but like the joy in his voice when he was talking about showing up there and getting submitted 20 times in 20 minutes by Dan the dentist or whatever that dude's name was.
Don't hold on. Do not disrespect.
I don't remember.
Dental
I would never Dental Bill. I would never disrespect him. But like the joy,
that guy was the man.
He still is.
I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah, the joy in Mike's voice where he was like, "Oh, this guy kicked the shit out of me. I can't wait to figure out how to do that."
Yeah.
Like you talk about the guys who come back the next day. There's ego when your ego goes home and you get bruised. He left there being like, "This was awesome.
Yeah.
I got fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna know how to do this in 3 months. Like I'll be unstoppable as a force." You could tell pretty much everything you need to know about the dude by how happy he was that he got beat up his first day in the gym and was like, "Oh, great." Because then now I'm going to figure this out and it's going to be a problem for everybody else around me.
Yeah. And it's a forever, honestly, the best. This was great too, that he said like maybe 25 to 30% of his business that he gets, Joe Rogan is. Yeah. Because it's people
huge proponent.
Oh, he's the biggest advocate. And it's true, but he's not saying anything that's not true. It's fucking true.
Just to be fair, everybody too, I'm about to start my sucking my own dick business. So if I can get a 35% boost on that too, just bring them over this way. Yeah. That was a wild thing to say on air. Yeah. And I believe him.
Yeah. Dude,
I believe him.
It's true. I mean,
he's not a liar.
And and it's like, dude, it's not even just that. It's the UFC, it's Marvel movies, it's everything. Like jiu-jitsu is so mainstream now, but it's legit mainstream. It's not like a Tiger.
It's a funny dynamic in jiu-jitsu because like it's almost like Eddie Bravo says he's a big time jiu-jitsu guy. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Eddie's always saying like now it's like nerd assassins, right? Because computer dorks or whatever can go in there
or dentists.
or whatever, right? Listen, and
anyone.
so they're used to being not the alpha, right?
Yeah.
So like they go in there and they get submitted. It's okay. They come back, no harm done. They'll figure it out, Whereas like a top-notch athlete, when he goes in there and he thinks he's Billy Badass, because in whatever respective sports he's usually beating the shit out of people, he gets humbled so quickly they can't, it tells you a person if they can hurdle that and keep moving.
Yes.
Which I used to laugh at in that gym. We get me and Mike when we first started, we get smoked so many times. Both of us very good wrestlers. I would look, at the end, I'd be like, me and Mike be looking at guys like, you want to wrestle after practice? I was like, what the fuck? No, I'm 50. Don't be mad that I choked you out. I'm like, you want to wrestle later? He's like, no, I don't. I was like, okay, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Do you remember John Dorito?
Oh my God.
He's on the show next week. Like on November 30th, we're recording with Dorito. Yeah. It's gonna be great. I know. Well, dude,
let me ask you this though. Like from two guys who train too, right? Like, what's the one of the best aspects has to be like for how a fighter's gonna play out is coachability, right? Like you have to walk in there knowing that there's a ton of shit you don't know.
You don't know shit. Yes.
You don't, and so if you have that kid, right? And I wasn't that kid, but like. The kid who is the pitcher on the baseball team when you're 9, he's the quarterback on the football team when you're 13. Like he's the athlete, right? He's the kid who plays all the sports and he's just naturally good at them. But like my sports experience was I could run and jump, but I wasn't very skilled. So if I wanted to be on the basketball court, like I got to get on the floor for loose balls. Like, I got to box people out. I got to do weird shit. Like I like being a garbage man, essentially. But being a garbage man teaches you like, all right, I'm coachable, man. Like, what do you need me to do? What do you need? What do I need to do today?
You're a team
to contribute. And I played with some kids who were those super athletes when they were 7, 8, 9. Guess what? When everyone's 15 or 16 or 17, like that shit evens out pretty quick. We're all not playing D1 somewhere or something like that.
That's the truth.
But those kids were uncoachable. Uncoachable. You gotta. Yeah. I think that mentality of being a grinder is you walk in there and go, tell me all the things I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. If you got to be, dude, you got to want to learn and you got to want to grow. And that's like, dude, because those guys are the first guys that are making excuses of why this happened and why this didn't happen. They're not realizing like, oh, I just don't know and I need to learn. Right. Because it's so naturally gifted. Yeah.
Experience is so heavy in MMA too, because of the fact that like, you got to remember that. Brendan Schaub used to say this all the time. He was a freak, he was almost in the NFL, freak athlete at heavyweight. So he's like, my athleticism was a cheat code. I could beat guys that I shouldn't beat. And I didn't start till after college fighting, but because I was so athletic at that size, I can get away with it. But when I got to the top 10 guys in the world, no, they've seen the big athletic guy a billion times. They know exactly what to do with me. They've seen everything. So when you get to there's no sport, like you could show up to a basketball court and not really know the sport that well, be a freak athlete and perform extremely well.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
MMA, there's no such thing. I don't care how freakish you are of an athlete. Some guy's going to see you and immediately understand what you do wrong when he's a seasoned older vet and force you to do that and then beat the shit out of you.
He's legit a shark. He's legit a shark and you're a fucking chum. And that's
which I don't want to blend it in like that, but it's the exact scenario they just tried on your young Mexican feller against Gabe this weekend.
All right. Well, we'll try that. We'll talk about that. But
the exact scenario, they fed him to an old lion that was like, oh, if you think you're good, you better be able to get through me because I've seen it fucking all and been in with the best.
He's the gatekeeper of that division. We'll talk about it more. But I do want to talk about this. So Mike brought up a story. So as we said, Mike and Steve are training partners, right? And he brought up a story about how Steve got a nice little Harry Potter scar on his forehead when they were training one night. And this is training with 4-ounce gloves, no headgear, no shin pads. And that's what that was the bright idea.
You gotta remember, this is like 2006, 7, maybe 8. I don't know, in those pockets. The UFC I don't even think they didn't have their Stefan Bonner moment. They didn't have any of that yet. They didn't have all the the big, there was no real hype behind it. Like people didn't really follow it like that. Like MMA was still so underground.
Ultimate Fighter was still kind of
It was like for a guy who doesn't fight, it was like when Moneymaker won and then poker got really big, and then all of a sudden there was like the Liddell Couture UFC show, and then you knew like, all right, this shit is going mainstream.
Yep.
Now let me just clarify one thing too. I think when Mike was talking about this, you guys were both like 6 weeks away from fights. Like you guys had
Right.
fights. So
Yeah,
you were legit
signed
in
on the
Tampa
card.
at this point.
Yep. Signed
Yeah.
on the card, trying to sell tickets because they give you a bunch of tickets. You got to sell them yourself like a fucking student. And when I say that sport, people don't, when you see people make it, you just want to like shake their hand and hug them because you know the bullshit they had to go through from the bottom. When you're like, say, smokers and small events, you have to sell your own tickets. You got to promote yourself.
It's
a fucking nightmare.
Dude,
Right.
Worse,
For nothing, too. You get like no bread, nothing.
Dude, I'll let you get back to your story, but I do want to say this the perfect example of what you're talking about. I had a fight in Conshohocken, scheduled fight, booked, everything's ready, everyone signed, go to the weigh-in, we both weigh in, and then the guy leaves and we don't fight. So I had a camp, I weighed in, dude. I had like my whole family there. Like honestly, one of my best training camps. I like the guy's lucky we didn't fight because I would have fucking killed him because I was like, Tom, my brother was my conditioning coach. Right. And like, dude, like, cause I had a fight that I lost and it was because of my conditioning. And so I was like, look, I want something better. So he started like researching and doing conditioning. He was my
So you found the guy that used to get his way out of conditioning.
Right. Well, like, dude, like legit.
I'm
like,
joking.
But it was the best because like if you have like a coach,
those who can't do teach, right?
But it's also like there's training coaches that like even like Harry and Rich, like they'll see you're having an off day and they'll be like, all right, just get through it. Like they're not going to crush you. There was no remorse with Tom. It was fuck you, like, you know, don't.
Yeah, it's your brother. That's your brother. He doesn't care about your feelings.
Couldn't give a shit. So yeah, but no, I was like, dude, I was ready to run through a wall. So ready. And then, dude, I remember taking like a picture of like 30 people there. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's ready to go. And then they all are like, can we get refunds on the tickets?
Yeah. Like, why did I pay to watch a bunch of dickheads? I don't know.
Yeah.
So the dude just left, didn't say anything, left and never came back.
Yep. Weighed in and everything. And just,
I think it's okay. If you want to say his name, I think it's okay to publicly shame him.
I
wouldn't even bring it up because fuck him. Yeah.
Fuck. Honestly, it was like, I mean, it is what it is.
It is. Shit happens. Anyway, we're back. We're back in there, right? We're back.
Attaboy.
We're at the gym. Me and Mike train all the time. We back in the day, again, like I said, rudimentary, well before all the mainstream, well before all you see in the glitz and glory nowadays, well before Chuck Liddell, still underground stuff. The thought process back in the day, which is complete done a 180 nowadays, is the live sparring thing, right? So back in the day, they thought for years the only way you got better at not getting knocked out was getting the shit beat out of you, right? So they would constantly, there's legendary stories of like, there's a famous gym called Shootbox, which has Bondale Silva, Anderson Silva, the Hua brothers, all types of studs come out. They said they used to just absolutely knock each other the fuck out every single sparring session. Yeah. And that's what they thought would make themselves tougher, right? When really, now we know that if you have a concussion, even a little one, and you get tapped, you'll go the fuck out, right? So people don't even understand that part, which I won't get into, but some boxers, you don't even know they get knocked out in sparring or in training camp. And then they have a fight 2 weeks later, they get touched on a weird touch and they're out. And people are like, how did that punch knock them out? No, what you didn't see was he got knocked out in training camp by one of his sparring partners and they wasn't supposed to go that way. Whatever. Anyway, we're in there working out. We have Friday night fights every Friday night, 4-ounce gloves, right? It's supposed to be like,
dude, and this is like now, like the gloves are very high tech and everything.
These were terrible.
Like the 4-ounce Everlast.
I bought these bitches at Sports Authority. They were terrible, right?
It's like you ever see old dudes playing football in those leather helmets? Yeah, it's like that jump right there.
And we had because the Muay Thai coach at the time was sponsored by a famous company, Fairtex, blah, blah, blah. So like we had all these dope ass shin guards and shit like that, but we didn't feel like wearing them. Fuck that, get out of my face, right? It's for pussies. Yeah. So we're in there like normal, right? It's supposed to be 3 rounds, and it's also supposed to be like 70% go, which we all know that never happens. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you harder. Next thing you know, 3 hits in and we're fucking full fight.
But like it could be, but it's you get what you give, right?
Agreed, Matt. When you're older and you get it, yes. But when you're
that
24 and have only been doing it for a couple months, yes.
You're just trying to win. You're trying to win every time.
Yeah, feels like he's trying to knock me out. I don't know what's going on. I've never been in this. Like, we got to keep it moving. Let's just go for broke, right?
Yeah.
So that's the situation. Obviously, my fucking bread and butter is wrestling, which a lot of people don't have, right? So I go right to the takedowns. I'm doing my thing. Towards the end, this guy's more of a Muay Thai guy.
Yeah.
Which means he likes to use his kicks, right? Kicks, Muay Thai guys, is what they do.
Yeah.
So he's timing me. Can't get him off. I keep beating him to the kick. Blah, blah, blah. 3rd round, he gets a little cocky now. He's the good wrestler, right? This shit is cake. This kid couldn't stop me from taking him down if I fucking told him I was going to kill him if he didn't get taken down. Like, no chance of not getting taken down.
Right.
So now I'm all Mr. Ooh, he feels like Muhammad Ali. He's taking shots that he shouldn't take.
Yeah.
Getting all Matt, you know I'm an asshole. So I'm out there now.
But it's also part of the mental game.
I'm like, hey, guess what? Guess what I'm gonna do? Take you down. And guess who can't stop it? You, right? He's like, okay, finally, I shoot. He fucking kicks at the same time. And like his knee and shin clip dead off my head. I take him down because, again, you can't stop me from taking you down. So I take him to the ground, and all of a sudden, I see blood all over him. I'm like, damn, I fucked him up. And he looks up at me, and again, we're friends, we're training partners. You know, we're all going through the same shit. We all respect each other. He looks up and goes, fuck. And I'm like, oh, fuck what? Because I have a fight coming up. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck what? I see blood everywhere. I'm like, yeah. They then hold my head. I touch my head and pull my hand down. There's just blood everywhere. I have a vagina on my forehead, right? They call it a blowout. This motherfucker goes so deep right up in here that you could see the white of my skull. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah,
right?
you know
how they judge
your
trees
labias
on how
are
many,
just all over the place.
You know how they judge trees on how many rings there are when you cut it open?
Yeah.
They could have fucking told how many times I've been hit in the head by the fucking dance, whatever. So Mike, I had a little Ford Ranger. It was a 5-speed. This fucking jabroni told me he can drive stick, doing burnouts on the way out, letting the clutch off too hard. Right? So me and Mike in my shitty ass truck drive up to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. Go in there. Guy's like, what happened? I'm like, explain it, whatever. Stabs me a bunch of times with the needles, runs stitches from my fucking hairline down to my eye, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Tells me I need 8 weeks of inactivity. I said, bet, buddy. I go back because I don't like cardio. So now you can't. You're the biggest asshole. I hate this when my kids do this at wrestling, but if you're hurt, you can still come and see the practice and learn, right?
Yes.
Because that's when you learn from the best. So when you don't show up, even though I did not want it. I did not want to be there. I wanted to be home smoking weed and laying on my back and doing nothing, right? But instead, I'm not a pussy. And I'm like, you have to go there because I don't want other people to look at me and tell me I'm a pussy. Okay. So I show up to just watch the practice, right? True. Eventually, one weekend, I'm like, you know what? I can do cardio. I'm hitting the bags. I'm doing the other gay shit. I'm jumping rope, doing my thing, right? Now I look over and I'm like, well, here's the other thing. You can't take me down. So I'm like, I can do the wrestling stuff, right? That's me. I'm the wrestler. This is what we do, right? I wrestle. These guys don't. I'm like, I definitely won't get hurt in wrestling. If anybody's getting hurt, it's them.
Yeah, you never hit your head in wrestling. Never.
Yeah. Only 50 times a match, but never when I do it, right? So, because I felt like I was different, even though I've hit my head off everything on the planet 100,000 times. Whatever. I'm like, shoot in. Another good fella from there that's also a wrestler decided he had the same plan I had, but he didn't tell me that. You know? Maybe you should let me know. I don't fucking know. I'm the one with the big thing.
Right.
Now, again, did I have my headgear on? I did not because I'm an asshole, right? So I didn't have the headgear.
No, because headgear fucking sucks.
Because it fucking sucks and it's for pussies.
I don't wear it. I never wear headgear.
Here, Matty.
To be fair, it was just because your vagina couldn't breathe with that headgear. You know what I mean? Like, you got to let that bad boy breathe. You want to let it heal.
Hold on. The vagina has been stitched back up. Like, after the wife has it out the vagina, they put the stitches in it. My vagina also got stitched back up. So he's back to being tight. I'm tight and right. So I'm feeling good. I'm fucking taking shots. And then me and the other guy who decided he wanted to shoot at the same time I did banged heads. And immediately I just saw fucking 1983 Chucky movie with blood spraying out my forehead again. So they, now again, I drive myself to the hospital this time because I'm so fucking mad. Same place, go in, same doctor. Doctor looks at me and he's like, "The fuck did you do? You stupid." And I'm like, no, I'm not stupid. I'm like, dude, I tripped and I fell. Like, all right, I ran into the lift at work. I work in a garage. I hit the lift. It just popped open again. He was like, you're in all Henzo Gracie fight gear. That looks like a really tight shirt. They call him a rash guard. Has Henzo on it. And same with the shorts. And there's still tape on like one of my knees. I was like, yeah, no, I was back in there like a fucking asshole. You're right. He was like, so here's the thing. I'm going to stitch this back together, but you're going to have a big scar. And he's like, so I'll then introduce you into like one of the plastic surgeon guys and we'll move some like things, blah, blah, blah. I raised my hand and he's like, what? I said, am I Brad Pitt? Dog, a scar. I could have a dick on my forehead. I'm not doing any worse. Like, shut your no. You're fucking.
I mean, you already have a
what?
vagina up there. Why not have a dick on your forehead?
I was like,
right?
hey, they can fuck each other. I'm like, cuz, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
That's a total mind fuck right there, pal.
Hey,
Keep
you
them
ain't
coming.
lying.
Keep them coming.
But when you're talking about plastic surgery, I was like, am I gonna get like you gonna implant in? I'm gonna look like Mike fucking Padilla now. You're gonna give me these joints? No. Well, then no. You just get the fuck out of here. But yeah, that was a shout out to Mike for doing burnouts in my truck while I'm bleeding out my fucking forehead and I'm rocking back and forth about to throw up. This asshole hasn't driven stick since he was in fucking New York.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Since he stole a hub,
Since he was 9.
Since he stole his first car at 11.
Yeah, in Spanish.
Well, I stole my first drunk at 15, but I got arrested doing it.
That'll happen.
Whatever. Fuck you, Mike. I waited a little bit.
Story for another time. So, all right. Well, thanks for sharing that, Steve. So, like we said, available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. We have the Mike Padilla episode available now. Please check it out and like and subscribe so my wife gets off my back about doing the show. Let's keep it moving. Next week, we have Aaron Rosenthal on the show. So, I will say this. We've brought him up. We brought him up tonight. We brought him up on the Padilla episode. And we brought him up on we bring him up on next week's episode with Aaron Rosenthal is Dental Bill. So I know he's a fan of the show, listener of the show. So Dental Bill, when you hear this, let me know and we'll have you on the show because you're turning into quite the legend. Quite the legend. People want to know the story of Dental Bill. But either way, Aaron Rosenthal, he's a Henzo Gracie guy. Really, really great story. He goes from growing up in he's from the same hometown as the world's best podcaster, Joe Rogan. And, Joe Rogan, fan of the show, listener to the show. And, he goes from growing up in that small town to, like going to college in Manhattan, then to UMass, then he was bartending and, just a whole bunch of different things he was able to do, and then eventually moves down here. He works at a storage facility and a bar, and just really great story, really great dude, really awesome. Really happy how this episode turned out. Really think everyone's going to enjoy it. But yeah, next week available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast next Tuesday. So let's keep it moving. So
listen or die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple. It's pretty simple.
Too much.
No,
too much.
You don't have to listen, but definitely like and download. Whether you listen or not is fine. I mean, we hope you listen, but if you just want to like or download, or you can die. You got a lot of options.
Hell yeah.
The point is the Working Perspectives. 4th Street Productions gives you a lot of options.
Yeah.
It's ice cream, baby.
Ice cream.
I heard that. Somebody said that one time before.
It. Hey, someone mentioned it. But yeah, and we would like to take this opportunity now to thank all our listeners because as of now, we have passed 22,000 views across all platforms, not including social media platforms, right? Across all podcast platforms and YouTube, we passed 22,000 views. So we want to thank everybody for, all the help and contribution and everything like that. And it's been, I mean, I couldn't believe we got this far, but hey, we're doing what we're doing. But yeah, so thank everyone for that. So let's keep it moving. So last week on the show, the 40 Fort fanatic, the 40 Fort father, the frenzied fella from 40 Fort, Bern Polatski, he told us that he was going to Denver, Colorado, and for a bachelor party. Bern, I'm assuming.
Wait a minute. That's not what I heard. I mean, you have different ears. I heard he was going to Denver to eat his weight in marijuana.
Oh, you know what?
Everybody's right. Everybody's
I don't know.
right.
Everybody wins.
Everybody's right.
New America. Everybody gets a trophy.
But doesn't
Everybody
sound
wins.
like an eventful weekend, Bern. Anything going down? Anything happen?
So,
did you see Danny DeVito?
No, I looked for Danny DeVito as well. I did not see its presence in Denver, but way things
I'll tell you,
scared.
If Fire Brothers if they did want to sponsor us, they probably would have a shop in Denver. Just saying, Fire Bros. We gave you 1,000 free fucking views.
Yeah, fuck you, Danny DeVito.
I think we assume
they're not going to be a sponsor, so you know.
I think we assume that like I think where you grow it and package it is I've never seen any weed from PA in a different state and vice versa.
Oh, really?
So I don't think they're quite there yet. But can I just put you guys on hold for 1 second?
Yeah.
I got to take a quick piss. Keep rolling. I'm going to bring my assistant in here just to handle this for a second. Okay. You guys all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Danny DeVito.
Well, if it isn't fan of the show, former
fellas.
guest of the show, Polatski. Steve, this is Polatski. This is Berns' younger brother. He's a former guest of the show, and you and him also have the same birthday.
My guy.
My God.
Mischief Night. Actually, not the same birthday. He has mine, some older.
Okay.
But whatever. I'm the older one. But
technically.
Good birthday, Mischief Night, baby.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's
Shakes
what we
things
do.
up, man.
Hell yeah.
Polatski, dude, love
Facts.
seeing you on the show. Love having you back on. How are you doing, my man?
I'm good. Bern told me to come on up, and I was like, you know what? This actually makes for an actual weekend popping in. Just popping in, guys.
Hell yeah.
guy.
I like it.
Dude, you should have told me. I could throw you on the show. We could have a fourth guy here, man. You know,
Hey, I'm game any day. You know what? I'm gonna leave Burns out for this evening, but in the future, you know.
Yeah, please do. So I want to run this by you. So we'll let the listeners know we do have some special treats coming up in a couple weeks. We recorded a series of episodes that we're dubbing we don't know what we're dubbing them, but it's a panel style episode, somewhat of a round table, where we have members that are all like, there's these people that are all like connected by a certain thing. And then they're interviewed by two different people, bouncing around questions. We did back-to-back shows like that. And we're in the process of recording a third in that series. Right. And we've done it with, I don't know if we haven't really talked about this place on the show. It's an area called N-Dub. I don't know. We don't really bring it up a lot. Steve's not really a fan, but either way. But I would love to do another roundtable. So we've already had the 44 members we've had on the show are Bern Vodkacy, Nick Gill, yourself, Polatski, Murph Meyer, right? And I'm trying and Dan Gallagher, right?
Yes.
So I would love to do a 44 round table if you'd be willing, sir.
I'm definitely in on that. That sounds like a great time.
Nice. So how are things going with you? Everything's going well?
Yeah, everything's going well at this point. Little sad that the weather has officially closed in. I started my backyard dojo for football.
Oh, I've seen the tent. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a tent, fire pit. But at this point it's like 31 degrees out. So now it's a little bit too cold to do
not
that.
Worth it.
No.
Yeah. Definitely not worth it. The worst thing about the cold is when your hands and feet get cold. Literally would rather be dead than to be in that scenario. It is literally the worst. Literally. So nice, man. Did you have anything going on last weekend or any fun stories you would like to share?
Last weekend was pretty tame. I was really excited about the Villanova game that started at 11:30 on Friday. Latest Villanova game going, so I had to curtail my drinking a little bit earlier on Friday evening.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a bummer. Well, it's really that's I mean, when you're getting old like I am, everything's a marathon. There's no sprinting anymore.
Sounds like it sucks.
Yeah, I've already been at the finish line. It is what it is. I'm not rushing to get there anytime soon. But yeah, nice, man. Cool. What was it, a West Coast game? Was that why?
Yeah, they were playing UCLA.
Wow, those UCLA. What have they ever done in college basketball?
No, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
That's not the best franchise of all time in college basketball. But either way, so nice, man. So okay, let's get a little personal since we have you here. So let's just say there's this girl, right? And
you climb on her roof and you run across like a fucking asshole. And you kick a couple shins or a couple shingles off, and you're the dad. Do you shoot him while he's on the roof, or do you wait till he comes in the crib?
Great question.
I think you pop the shot when he's on the roof.
Hell
That's
yeah,
just
good
me.
answer.
That's
I
just
agree.
me.
Well, but
That's just
here's
me.
the thing, though. It's a change. Like, I mean, how many shots do you get? Because it is a moving target. When they're in the room, they're
That
kind of
hard.
like they're kind of there. You know,
Legit,
you
legit
get them
point.
as they
Legit
come in
point.
through the window. That's ideal. That's just
Legit
ideal.
point.
Yeah.
I think
That's
think
the Ranger's son right there, breaking it
Hey.
down tactically.
Hey, man,
Right.
that's what you gotta do.
I think if you're on the roof though, even if you miss, it's still a shot across the bow, and this guy knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you get the same point across.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Polatski, real quick, what's the opposite of dusk? Would you know?
Dawn.
Oh, speaking of, how are things there?
What's that?
Anything going on?
No.
That's the opposite of dusk?
No.
Shoot your shot, Polatski. I believe in you, buddy. Come on,
I'm
man.
pretty simple guy, but I'll bring back in why the people come on here.
Hey,
The
the
old-
40
the-
Fort fanatic himself, old Benoit
Yeah.
Pudcasse. Well, Polatski,
We also-
go ahead. What are you saying?
We also call him Old Gray Bush, so he's in the house this evening.
Well, Polatski, before you go, I would like to thank you so much for blessing us with your presence. This was a real treat. Super excited you can jump on, and I can't wait to have you back on because you'll be popping in again, I hope.
That's right, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure. I love the show, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
Hey, man, thank you. All right, brother. Talk to you later, man. Well, wasn't that just a sweet treat, you scoundrel, you?
Denver. So Denver is fucking rad, dude. Denver kind of rules, right? So I go to this bachelor party, and it's like, you know, I when I moved to New York, right? I'm like 37. I have a baby. I'm not working for the first year. And then eventually I go work at a bar. I meet a bunch of dudes. I have some friends, but I'll be 40 in March. A lot of these guys are like in their 30s. So anyway, this dude, Chris, his bachelor party, good dude. He was a bouncer and a bartender. No one took less shit, and no one was happier to smile at someone and be like, "You're fucking gone, dude, and you're never coming back." I just loved the way he handled it.
Yeah,
he's probably like my best buddy in New York. So he was
ex-military.
He was a mechanic in the Air Force. He was a helicopter mechanic.
Okay.
And so I said before, like, you know, I agreed to go to this bachelor party because he was like, yeah, we're gonna go see the Broncos-Eagles game. I'm like, oh, nice, Philly, it's an hour and a half away. I didn't read the email, you know, it's in Denver. Anyway, I go out there, and there's like 11 of us, right? And like 5 of the dudes he served with, and they were all like in their early 30s.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple dudes he knows from home. My one buddy Craig from work, and so it's a nice mix, right? So we get there, everybody's there finally like Friday night, and we're gonna walk. We're gonna go to like a nice like steakhouse, you know, have a nice dinner, right? We're gonna walk
with a bunch of hooas.
Well, that was, I mean, I can't or cannot. But so we're walking there, right? And there's this dude Felix, right? And Felix is he's a beefy dude. He's got a sweet mullet, and we're walking.
Hell yeah,
love him. And we're walking to the steakhouse.
Hell yeah.
He's from Austin. A lot of these guys are from Austin. A couple of these dudes were from Denver. 2 dudes from Alabama. Like it was a cool crew. Like everybody was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so we're walking there, and he sees this scooter, and he's like, "I'm gonna take the scooter," right? And everyone's like, "Yeah, man, get that scooter." And I'm walking.
Get that scooter. No one says don't get the scooter.
No, right?
Yeah.
They're all
So
get the fucking
it's an
scooter.
electric scooter.
It's an electric scooter, right?
Hell
So
yeah.
at this
Love
moment, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So we put on some nice pants, and we're going to like a nice steakhouse, but like we're stealing scooters on the way. I'm not.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I just met these. I just got in at 5 o'clock, right? I don't know.
I like
anybody
how
yet.
this is starting.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the start to this.
Really like that. Yeah.
Played
Uh-huh.
like two games of beer pong. You know, the nice thing was the house. We got an Airbnb, right? It was 420 friendly. We walk
Always
in there,
the move.
open one of the cabinets in the kitchen, like 6 bongs, 4
Hell yeah.
pipes, steamrollers. Like they had all that shit there. So we're walking there, and Felix is like, "I'm taking the scooter," and I'm like, "All right, well, everyone seems to be pretty cool with Felix stealing the scooter, so I'm not going to rain on the parade. You know, I guess we're just going to keep it going." Then he's zipping around on the scooter, and he's kind of like patrolling Felix is the man, patrolling the perimeter. But then as the place is like a mile away, and as we're walking, I'm noticing that there's a lot of scooters around. It took me about 25 minutes to realize that Felix didn't steal someone's scooter. Denver just has this thing. It's through Lyft, and it's through another company called Lime, who are both huge fans of the show. That's the only reason I shout them out.
Fan of the show, listener of the show.
these fucking scooters just live all over the city, and you find one and you put it on your phone and you zip into it, and now you have a scooter to go where you want. So we first of all, we
someone
time these.
steal it though?
No, it can't be. I mean, it can't be stolen.
Well,
and
I'm
here's
saying,
the fun.
like, could it be stolen in your possession and then you have to pay, or do you have to like start it with your phone every time?
It's your phone. You get the app and you start in. It's $17 for a whole day, or it's like, you know, a $1.75 for a mile. And so then once I realized this, now, by the way, we got it up to, we didn't have a great speedometer. We had one guy had one on his phone that said between 14 and 16 miles an hour.
Love it.
When it goes, right?
I.
So this whole city is just like littered with fucking scooters, and you're walking home from the bar and you're like, you know, fuck it, I want a scooter. And you hop on one and you're all drunk and you drive opposite the way of traffic and you zip around. And so at one point there were 11 dudes in this house. On Saturday night, there were 10 scooters parked in front of the place, right? Because people are just scooting everywhere. But the funny thing is there's no like charging station. There's no like return station. You just look in the app and you're like, oh, there's scooters nearby. Let me see if it has any battery. And then someone just jumps on and takes it. So we'd have 10 scooters there at night, wake up at 9 a.m, there'd be 4 left.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
And
wait.
that's how,
So wait,
yeah.
anyone
Yep.
can take it at any time, and
Anyone
all you
can
have,
take it. Nope.
so you're
And if you-
essentially renting every scooter when you do
Yep.
it. So you have access to every scooter.
If you have the day pass and you go to a bar and you walk out and your scooter's gone, you look at
just
the
grab
app and
another
it
one.
tells you there's a couple other scooters, and you just go clock it in and jump on it and zip home. It was the most civilized thing. I will tell you what, there were a bunch of dudes who were super hurt bad on this trip, but we did so much more shit because we were like, fuck it, we'll just scooter home. Like, there were these 2 dudes who took a scooter all the way to Mile High Stadium. It was like 21 miles. And they just scooted the whole way. And then when their scooter would run out, when you get on it, you can see how the battery charges, right? Like a, you know, it's like 5 lights. So, you know, if you're trying to make a move, you want to find a
you got to have 5 lights. Yeah.
Now they also have bikes
Ooh.
that are like half mechanical, and they go way fast. I think we clocked them at 19 because we were on a one-way street. So then at a certain point at night, we were like, well, let's just drag race these things down the one-way street because we can see what's coming.
Must.
Yeah.
That's a must.
So which one's faster, the lime or the lift?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do 2 limes and just see if maybe we got to bum one here. I will tell you, dude, I would go back to Denver in a fucking second. It was like, it was a cool little, like the downtown looked big, but it was like the size of Old City. And then after that, everything is just kind of like neighborhoods, and like, not, some of them are kind of shitty, but most of them aren't.
Yeah.
And like,
was the B&B nice?
Dude, it was fucking, yeah, it was, I mean, they had a room with 3 bunk beds. So there was like 11 dudes there, and it was set up for like, come out here, have a bunch of dudes crash. Yeah. Here's all the paraphernalia and the whatever. I mean, this one dude bought an ounce of weed that was like 29% THC for 90. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Anything over 20 is really good.
Is really good. This shit is, and like, once stupid. You get 30 gets real wild. Yeah. 30 gets wild. Right? Stupid. This guy was from Texas, and he was like, this was $95. He's like, this would cost me $350 in Texas, no questions asked, and I'd be happy to pay it because I'd be like, well, it's incredible shit.
An ounce in Pennsylvania would be like $400. It's about $90 a quarter or to $100 a quarter at a dispensary.
Right? Maybe get a little. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's always Matty. It's always been $90 a quarter.
Well, no, I'm saying
you pay for what you get nowadays. When they let the nerds in and they went, oh, you guys want to see how you can really grow this shit? Get your little nerdy ass fucking hoodlum.
Yeah, take your kind bud and get the fuck
out of your closet with a fucking heat lamp and get the fuck out of here. Let me do what I gotta do.
Nice.
So, gentlemen, I did eat 85 grams of marijuana on Sunday, but it was over the course of like 10 hours, and I got these little. Remember that? What was that cereal with little chocolate chip cookies? Was it Cookie Crisp?
Oh, Cookie
was
Crisp.
that the
Cookie
Crisp,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I got this thing.
Shout out Cookie Crisp, fan of the show, listener to the show.
Yeah, it was $15, right? It was like this caramel bar with like 10 little Cookie Crisp cookies in it, and so you could like break them off, and when you wanted to, And it was 100 milligrams of marijuana for fucking $15, and they were delicious. And I just ate one every like 95 minutes for a whole day and had the most pleasant experience of my whole life.
So I'm not into, like, I haven't gotten into the medical edible game, whatever.
Well, here's the thing, right? In Pennsylvania, edibles are just pills, right? You can get a pill.
Okay.
There is no edibles. Yeah.
There's no like
shit is there's no such. It's
Right.
such bullshit. Such
Now,
bullshit. You corny ass fucking state PA.
I will
Fucking
say
corny.
the one good thing about it is that I bought one once. I bought like a pack of like 10 pill because I have my card. 10 pill like indicas, like 10 grams a piece. I got home, I opened it up, I poured it out. There were 11, and I was like, "Thank God they made stoners pharmacists, man." I just got an extra pill out of this. But they were like, "Hey, do you want some cookie? You want some granola bars that'll get you fucking high for a week? Do you want some?"
Yeah,
it was just so civilized. I want all of it. I want all of it. So I brought a pack of cookies and a pack of gummies home, and no one
gave a shit.
And then all the other guys were going to ship their shit because they were like,
"You're like,
no,
hold
we're going
on,
to FedEx."
Hold on, I know a guy that just put it on his carry-on, and they didn't give a single fuck.
Exactly. And then there were these dudes from Texas who were like, "No, we're getting 3 ounces and we're sending it home. And even if it doesn't, if it doesn't get there, I'm out $200. But if it does get there, I'm up $900. So
allegedly,
roll the dice."
So, like Joey Diaz will talk about like the stars of death.
They're 500.
So
500
okay,
milligrams. A Death Star that he used to talk about, Diaz. It's a 500 milligram edible.
So
it's the strongest edible you can buy, basically.
So Bern has a bar that's 100, right?
100, 10, like 10 little cookies that are each worth 10.
And so 10 will and would you eat the whole cookie or just like a piece of the cookie?
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, let's have a cookie and a half, and that's like 50 milligrams. And then like an hour and a half later, you're like, you know what? Give me another cookie. But the whole thing is 100 milligrams, and I didn't even get through it in a day when I was trying to eat the most weed I possibly could. I got to like 75 milligrams and was high for 14 hours delightfully. So 500 is insane.
Like it would,
but Joey Diaz, only Joey Diaz.
He's taken 2 of them, isn't he?
Yeah,
I've eaten one 500 milligram before, and I lasted all of 35 minutes before I had to take a nap, and when I took a nap, I woke up 12 hours later.
I was gonna say, and
it was the best sleep of my life. I woke up like Rip Van Winkle. I looked around, felt like I was in a different century. Where the fuck am I? It was fantastic.
Bro, you might so if he's whacking them down, he's he's just,
I don't know how he can stay alive. Oh yeah, he's tripping balls.
So okay,
and let me just wrap up one thing with the scooters. Right, they're electric, so there's no power stations. What happens is it's run by the community. So if you want to take one of these scooters and drag it into your backyard and plug it in, then for every 10 minutes you have it plugged in, you get 10 minutes worth of free ride on the scooter. So like people will just pick them up and go charge them. And so like there's no, what was crazy, like we know like the bikes in Philadelphia and stuff. Like
how do you just a normal cord that charges them?
Yeah, you just have a fucking plug in them.
Okay. Could you imagine them letting people in Philadelphia to these things?
So here
I would be ghost, because I'm an asshole. We know this. I would be ghost riding it off the fucking Gerard Point Bridge at 15 miles an hour. Watching that go
every crackhead would be having them plugged into the subway outlets, right, with a cord that they stole, and being like, "Oh, you want this scooter? $5, right?" Like that's
right. So this is the story I'm trying to tell these guys.
Can't have nothing nice.
Everyone's loving all these scooters, and then it's like Saturday night, and I'm like, "You guys ever hear about Hitchbot?"
Yeah. Went across the country, no problem. And then he got stomped out.
Hitchbot was a robot that was created to travel, to hitchhike around the world.
Some really good school.
MIT or Stanford or some super brainy computer school.
To
travel across the globe and rely on people to pick it up and take it places, right? It traveled all the way across Canada in 26 days. Then it went to Germany. It got all through Germany in like 7 days. Then they decided they were going to do an American tour. So we're going to start in Boston and try to get to Los Angeles. It was found 2 weeks later in Philadelphia, decapitated with its arms ripped off.
It is. You don't remember this, Matt? It looked like Oscar the Grouch. It was like a little trash can looking.
Yeah, it looked like
it was
Oscar.
like a J5.
like a J5. J5. It was
Yes.
J5.
And it's the biggest joke on earth that even the robot that went all over the world couldn't make it out of Philly. The second he got here, he got fucking stomped out.
Went through like the Yukon, all of Canada in 26 days, and then a European tour, and they launched it from Massachusetts, and then found it 2 weeks later decapitated with its arms ripped off in Philadelphia. And I was like, the whole time we're out there, people are like, these scooters are awesome. I'm like, yeah, they can't be everywhere though.
No.
They can't be everywhere.
In like Kensington too, in like an alley. They found it like the hood.
Dude, bro, they like the first thing they're doing is stripping it and selling it for parts.
Taking the copper
Get
out of it and
whatever.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, the first time, if you're the first like fucking dipper that finds out about that, you're stealing it and you're selling it to whoever.
I'm
the
taking that
kid.
right to the scrap metal
Yeah.
yard and being like, how much for the thing?
Yeah.
This
Or
thing.
you're taking it to the corner and be like, yo, I'll turn you a scooter for a fucking let me go. You know.
Seven Newports. But so the funny thing is
7
too,
Lucy's.
Yes, I was just gonna say, give me 7
Yeah.
Lucy's.
Yeah, they don't all have to be Newports. Some of them can be
7
Winstons.
Lucy's.
Call back
Call
to
back to
Winstons.
Winston's last year. Yeah, they're not making
then,
any
like,
new Winstons.
A couple of these guys were like, fuck it. We're taking this thing. We got the $17 day pass. We're taking this thing to 21 miles to Mile High Stadium. We'll just leave a couple hours earlier and see what happens. And he's like, we got there, and he's like, there was a pile of these things, like 4 feet high. And like, who knows which ones are charged and which ones aren't? But you come out of there and you're like, all right, let me see. This one's got 1 left. How far away do I live? Oh, that one's got 3 on it. I'll give it a whirl, and then hope when I get back closer to civilization, I can trade it out for one that's got a little more juice.
So
but
the whole city runs on the scooters.
on these fucking scooters, it's insane, man. And so we go to this steakhouse, right? And it's like 9:15 is our reservation, like mountain time. So it's legit midnight. Everyone's been traveling all day.
Shanahan's or
There was
Elway's?
Shanahan's and Elway's. We went to the other one, the real bougie one.
What was it called?
but
Do you
then-
remember?
Bard and the Butcher. I don't know.
Nah,
something
fuck
like that.
off. Yeah.
Whatever. But all of a sudden we get out of there and it's like, all right, well now it's 1:15. Everyone's filled with meat. Time to scooter home on the opposite direction on a wrong way street for 1.5 miles and just hope that. And it reminded me of like when I would walk out when I get home at night and see like 11 scooters parked. It's like when you'd have to do something stupid, like you had a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment as a kid. And you're like, fuck, well, I don't know where my friends are now. Now it's 11:30 in the summer. Like they've been out for an hour. So you just drive around to all your friends' houses. And then once you see that pile of bikes on the front yard, you're like, all right, nice. We're playing video games at Jimmy's house. There's everybody. And I was like, you get home and you're like, oh, look at it. Look at that. This is where the fun's happening because there's 8 scooters parked out front.
Yeah.
But yeah, Denver was awesome. The scooter culture was awesome. I totally understand why it will never work on the East Coast or in any East Coast city.
Bro.
Because
But
all
I
I
will
can think
say
about is getting drunk and holding it by the handlebars and doing like the Zangief from Street Fighter and just swing that joint around and then let it go and see how far it'll go.
14 miles an hour is not a ton, but it's a ton when you hold the throttle in and then kick it up. You know what I mean? Like it's enough to do something. So then we started looking it up. I was only able to find one. I just looked up YouTube. I was like Denver scooter fights. I was only able to find one. But I wasn't able to find one where someone used the scooter as a weapon. So, which would be the first thing. If it was in Philly,
they got like lights on them and stuff.
Yeah, they got lights.
Like...
They have bells. They have a little bicycle bell. They're fucking hilarious.
Can I throw a broad on one of these? Can I skip a bit?
Can 2 people fit?
Yeah, can I scoop a hua?
I mean, it's going to depend on how her ratio is and how good you.
What if she's a rhino?
Yeah.
What if it happens to be a
You're
rhino?
not plucking the rhinos with.
You're gonna need one of the bikes for that. You're gonna need one of the bikes for that.
You're gonna need one of the wheelbarrows for that one.
Yeah, like every year you walk into a bar, there's like 20 scooters. And you're like, all right, fucking.
Dude,
it was awesome.
So
it was cool.
Everybody knows like scooting's the game.
Everybody. And so I have a cousin who lives out there, and I was like, how much do you guys hate that? Like, was it super touristy for us to just be out there and just zipping on the scooters? Like, because if I lived in that city, I'd be like, I got all these fucking assholes coming in for a weekend to see a football game, just zipping on scooters the wrong way down the street at 16 miles an hour. And he was like, I mean, it's a little annoying, but not, it's kind of fine. It's like any other big city.
I wonder
for driving
what
down a street like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude. dude, I would love to see like what their drunk driving ratio is pre-scooters, post-scooters, because
No,
it had to have dropped incredibly.
Now I did have to inform
You're
two
giving way
guys.
too much credit to people, Matt. No way it changed that dramatically.
You don't think so?
No, because
Well-
people are assholes. I'm an asshole. Too many people are assholes.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
you can still get a DUI on a scooter, which I had to
Anything
break
with a
to people.
motor.
It was like
Anything with a
Sunday
motor.
morning. It was like Sunday morning. I'm like,
really?
yeah, don't get a DUI on that. And the dudes were like, "What are you talking about? Like, you guys have been scooting for days. You didn't realize that like you're on the public roads on a thing with a motor. If you're blowing through a stop sign and some cop wants to be like,
You're
well,
a
that guy
dick,
seems
yeah.
like,
Yep.
you know, I'm like, I don't know the exact rules of Colorado, but pretty
Yeah.
sure if you're on the road on a motorized vehicle, like they can
DUI
nab you.
implies, yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want like that would be a good like Reno 911 style show in Colorado, because it's 90% guys just like tourists just dip the hell out on shit.
Yeah.
Too many bites of the megastar or
Well,
whatever.
that's what I mean. There's so many. There's legal weed everywhere. Like it's got to be a public nuisance. But I think there was only, we looked it up. There was only 41 scooter deaths this year in Colorado,
Oh.
which
How many?
I don't know.
And you're saying there's thousands of these scooters.
that got to be thousands of them
Wow.
at use at all times. It was cool,
Yeah.
but I understand why it will never work on
Never,
the East Coast for
not
not
even
a
close.
single second.
Dude, it wouldn't work in New York. It wouldn't work in Boston. It wouldn't work in Baltimore. It wouldn't work.
Philly, DC,
Yeah.
it's not gonna
Not
happen.
a chance.
Maybe like Charlotte.
It'd work down
like,
south. It'd work
Oh,
down
it
Yeah,
would work
it
down
would be
south
Charlotte,
for
it
sure.
would be
Charlotte, Atlanta. Yeah.
Yep.
but not in
Yeah.
that Northeast, not in that Mid Atlantic, baby. It's not gonna.
No, not a
It's
chance.
not gonna happen.
It'd be great in Tallahassee. So either way, let's keep it moving. So before we get out of here, this is something we want to talk about. So fan of the show, listener of the show, Gabriel Rosado. We're big fans of this guy on the show, and everyone else should be too. He's a true blood and guts warrior, just a great fighter, super cool, good dude. He had a fight this past weekend against Jaime Menguia. And I'll tell you, great fight. Really a war, really a dog, like, you know, really a dog fight. Like, I'll tell you, you know, Rosado is game, and he can fucking go, and he is the gatekeeper of that division. If you want to contend, you have to get through Rosado. And dude, and like his record is just, it sucks that like he has, but there's losses that he shouldn't have. Like he beat Danny Jacobs, and everybody fucking knows.
Sure did.
You know, and that's why he gets these mega fights, and that's why he's the gatekeeper. But I'll tell you, Jaime Menguia, bro, watch the hell out. The dude can go. I would love. So the dude Rosado knocked out, not, you know, with the knockout of the year, right? The dude, he was all throwing body punches, that like Russian dude, right? I would love to see him and Menguia go at it, just because it's like power on power, a lot of heavy hitting, isn't going to last. You know, it'd be like a Kirkland kind of, you know, Kirkland Perro kind of, you know, kind of game. But it was like this fight, I'll tell you, Rosado fought a great fight, but it's just, I mean, like age, it catches up with you.
The motherfucker.
It's a motherfucker, but like there was no way, like at no point was like Rosado not competitive. Was he not in it? And it was a really good fight. Like, just like, it's what you want to see. And it's another thing too. And I love that they do this. And this is like an unsung rivalry in all of sports.
Puerto Rico versus Mexico.
Well, yes.
They hate each other.
Puerto Rico versus Mexico in boxing.
Yes.
They get the fuck up for that.
Oh,
Like, that
yes.
is a massive rivalry. And you have to look.
Wait. So you're telling me that Steve's love for both Puerto Rico and Mexico is not enough to unite them? Because I feel like there's a
the
bridge here.
females possibly, not the dudes.
The first president of both Mexico and Puerto Rico, Steve Cabot, the South.
Mexico, Steve Cabot,
Yeah,
the president of Mexico.
He's a Puerto Cannon. That's what he is.
Hell yeah.
So no, he's so Puerto
But-
Rico, Mexico, great storied rivalry, and they really, and like, dude, and it was another just great fight, and another, you know, it was awesome.
And another thing with the culture of the fight game. I always tell people all the time, there's no other race I would ever, or culture, race, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I would least want to fight of any of the fighters in boxing, it's Mexicans.
Ugh,
These
close.
motherfuckers
they're
Not
dogs.
close.
you
They
will
are
never,
fucking dogs.
ever, until he's dead on the ground, get that guy to stop coming. They just
Yeah.
don't. I mean, this kid, again, he has, what was he? I think he has 37 wins already. He's only 25,
Yeah.
30
Ew.
knockouts. The kid's,
I mean,
the kid's,
he's
his
fought a
hands,
couple
so-
cab drivers, but you know.
and yes, of course. That's how boxing goes.
Yeah.
But for him to, like, obviously, Rosado is the biggest name he's ever fought,
Yeah.
and with the best resume. But his thing was so my thing I was getting annoyed with was for a person who doesn't understand boxing and like high hands defense and things like that, the way Gabe, carries himself. Every time he went to keep his hands up, like in Jaime would throw 4 5-hand combos. So it looked like he was punishing Gabe
Right.
when he really wasn't. It was
Right.
great day. Gabe knows
Yeah.
the defense game board name. It's a Philly thing. That's like
Yeah.
what we do. Our
I
days.
agree.
So but
it
like
looks worse than it actually
looked
is.
absolutely like people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, he's getting hit," and then Gabe will come back and fire back. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's firing back." Well, he has great defense. He wasn't really getting hit.
I'll tell you, it does play mind games when you're in there because there's times where like you're catching right and like the guy's throwing at you and then you hear like and I was like, was that supposed to like?
Yeah, he couldn't get hit.
Did I miss something? Was that me?
The other thing that pissed me off. This part pissed me off too. How about that fucking scafozo referee
dude.
that stepped into the point talking about knock that shit up?
No,
Shut the
I'm
fuck
so
up and
fucking-
be
yeah.
less involved. Be less
Yeah.
involved. Your job is
Yeah.
to make sure they're safe. I don't need
Yeah.
your fucking feelings involved. Get
This
the fuck
isn't
out.
this isn't about you, dude. Don't try and steal their show. Like they are
Fucking
putting on.
clown.
They are
fuck
putting-
that
yeah.
that ref.
They
Absolute
were putting
clown.
both of them were putting everything out there and they were giving you a fuck like everybody.
war.
And so
Classic.
first thing, crowd was red hot,
Oh, yeah.
red fucking hot.
What do you
Right?
expect with Mexicans and Puerto Ricans?
True, very true.
Yeah.
And they
Hell
sold
yeah.
the fight well, and they
love fighting.
but they promoted on social media well. Like
Mhm.
it was really, really well done. But red hot crowd,
And it was, let's not forget, it was a big fucking
big
momentous
big
thing.
yeah.
If this kid gets through Gabe, he's the most legit. And he didn't just pass the test; he passed pretty well.
He did
looked
do
good.
well.
That kid
he did
he
really
gained
well.
a fan in me. He gained a fan in me.
Oh, I think everyone that watched it wants to see Jaime Manguilla fight again.
I do.
I
Yep.
agree.
I want to see him get the big names.
But you're absolutely right. That ref trying to steal their thunder when these two fucking guys are
Fucking
putting
clown.
everything out there and putting a show and giving everyone their money's worth. Right.
Awful.
It's almost like he's disrespecting the fighters at that point.
And he did it at a point right after they were in a heated exchange.
Yes.
And you can see Gabe looking at him like he doesn't
Dude,
know what
fuck
planet
off.
he's on. He was just getting, yeah, dude, I don't even know what you're saying. Get out of my fucking face. I hear the
Yeah.
bell, the crowd screaming.
Yeah.
Where there's 30,000 people roaring. Me and this guy are punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
The fuck out of my face.
Yeah. Yeah. You just ruined what
Idiot.
would probably be one of the best clips of the fight.
Right? You fucking clown.
Yeah, like if
And
he
also,
would've
like,
jumped
I
in-
don't-
if he jumped
know,
in to
shit.
separate it, different story, right?
Right.
Like if he
Right.
separating it, I have no problem with that. Duh,
Agreed.
you have to do that. But him like
Yes.
trying to reprimand Rosado
was terrible.
afterwards, absolute bullshit.
A guy
And
who's
that
been in
was
the game forever?
Yeah,
Like he
and
doesn't fucking know the rules?
and that was only for the ref. The ref
For the
did that
camera,
for himself.
faggot. Yeah, uh-huh.
Exactly. It wasn't for anybody else. I completely agree. It was very It's just another piece of
Fucking
shit
dick
boxing.
sucker. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that to some people. Dick sucker.
Right. So
Well,
Bern,
also,
what were you
like,
saying?
I don't have nearly the fight experience that you guys have, but like, when you're in one, right? Like,
Oh,
know when you have that like 15, 20, 30, 40 seconds when you're like, okay, man, here's where, like, now we're going. Like,
Yeah.
now it's on. To interrupt either fighter in that is just, you're stealing from the audience, man. Like, once those guys hit that level of like, you know what? Now we're both like, okay, we're both here. Let's get it done.
Dude.
Get the fuck away, man. Walk to the other side of the ring. Like, don't, unless someone throws a shot in the balls. Like, don't interact, man.
Yeah.
Let them do it.
Perfect example of this. Gotti Ward won round 9, right? Gotti Ward won round 9. And in
So
the
frustrating.
documentary, right? In the documentary, Gotti Ward won round 9, one of the best rounds in the history of the sport of boxing, right? Like Jim Lampley is on this, he's in the commentating, screaming, saying, Gotti's out on his feet. Frank Cappuccino needs to stop the fight. Frank needs to stop the fight. Gotti is out on his feet, right? And Frank Cappuccino, one of the best refs of all time, he in the commentary, he's like, there was no fucking way of stopping that. If I would have stopped that fight, they would have fucking killed me. They would have
both
fucking
fought me.
killed me.
They would have both fought me.
You know why? You know why he's a great ref? You know why he's a great ref?
Same, let's him
Because
fight.
nobody's ever fucking heard of him. That's
Nope.
why.
He
be
lets
seen.
him fight. Yeah.
No one needs you involved in the fucking
Dude,
fight. Mills Lane, all right?
Him and Steve Smoger, right? Like the Kenny Baylesses of the fucking world. There's what bad for the sport with their awful stoppages, right?
Listen, if you know the name of a baseball umpire or a basketball ref or a football ref, it means they're probably fucking up, right?
Or getting caught betting.
Yeah. Or they're jacked on
Donaghy.
like Ed Hockley.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
or
you've
you're
seen
Jack and your son isn't.
Yeah.
you understand that hockey. You've seen Hockey Lee Jr. out there, right?
Yeah,
No.
not jacked. Not jacked.
Oh,
It's a little
really?
sad.
Hockey Lee's retired.
Do I feel a little
I
bad when I
do.
look at him? Because I think
do.
in his head he's probably like, first down. And his dad
And
used to be like,
He's not.
first down.
And probably like if he took his shirt off, he'd probably look fine. He just doesn't have those Hockey Lee biceps.
Yeah,
You- that meat from the shoulders down. He just doesn't have it.
Yeah, dude, Hockley legit got
In that
like,
Schmiedy
legend.
t-shirt.
no, he legit became the #1 ref in the NFL because of the
Mhm.
biceps.
Yeah,
Beefcake,
Legit.
baby.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, so either way, Gotti Ward round. If you haven't seen Gotti Ward 1 round 9, so when he's yelling, he's out on his feet, stop the fight. Gotti's out on his feet, stop the fight. Gotti would then rally back at the end of that round, dude. And like one of my favorite parts of that is Emmanuel Stewart is also the commentator, and he's yelling at him, he's like, "Now back to the body!" Like he's like in the corner. You know what I mean? Oh, it's the best.
What weight was that at?
They were welterweights.
68?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna
They were
say
little guys. They were welterweights.
57.
No. Gabriel.
Oh.
Oh.
I think they were super middleweights, I think. Yeah.
So they're 68?
No,
does
they might
that-
be 60. They might be because I think they're 60
Is
because
he too small? He too small for Canelo? I want to
Well,
see the
that's just-
Mexican kid go all Mexico. We go Guadalajara versus wherever the fuck he's from. Let's sign me up.
Yeah, dude. No,
Canelo will fuck him up,
the
but
fight
whatever.
for Mexico. Dude, I'll tell you, give Jaime a couple years, right? Give him
He's
a
a
couple
legit
higher
contender.
guys. Get him Danny Jacobs. Give him, give him all these higher guys.
Throw him the Triple G.
Let him do his thing, and then after
Triple
he's
G.
seasoned, dude. I mean,
Triple G's 40. He's 40. So give
Matty,
him the kid. He's 40.
Matty, was there a person you liked more in the world than Triple G when you were like 29 years old?
oh, bro,
There's
dude,
no
best.
way.
Do you
There's
know how
no
many
way.
times I've watched the Triple G Matthew Macklin body shot?
Yeah, I know because we used to talk about it at work. But like, there was no when Matt was 29 years old, 6-7 years ago. There was no one in the world he liked more than Triple G. Just as
Loved
a
him.
human, loved him.
Loved him. He
And
was
they robbed the
sponsored by
poor guy.
Jordan.
He beat Canelo. He beat
Yeah.
Canelo in that first fight.
I think so too. I think
Fuck
so
out of my
too.
face.
For
Fuck out of my
sure.
face.
So the crazy thing is with Triple G, right? If you haven't seen this clip, it's him versus Matthew Macklin, and Matthew Macklin, world champion, great fighter, one of the top.
Mhm.
He was top
World
5,
champion. All you
top-
got to say.
top
World
5,
fucking champion.
top 5 in his weight class at the time, and he's fighting Golovkin. Golovkin lands a body shot. You see it land on the left side, and then you see the power of it reverberate out of his body on the right side. Right. And the guy he's done after that. But like, I've watched that so many times being like, that's unreal power that he shifted a whole rib cage. You know what?
Yeah,
Like
organs move.
like, dude, that guy, I mean, like, yeah. And like, Triple G's balance is great. And I've always really liked his technique and the way he fights. I'm really a big fan of him. But okay.
I was
So
like
last-
I always like this punching style. He reminded me of like Chase Utley. Everything was real short. Like everything was real short, but super controlled with the hands. Like he
lets
didn't
it
need
go
much
late
momentum.
because he turns. Yeah.
Right, but he didn't need much momentum or much runway to deliver power, which is I think what you're going for.
He
probably.
snaps everything over. He turns everything over. He's got incredible balance. What were you gonna say, Steve?
Since 2000, there's only been 6 guys from Philadelphia that have won world titles, right? At any world title. So I don't give a fuck if it's the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the whatever, whatever. Alphabet soup. So obviously the 2 big ones are B-Hop, who won a shitload of belts. Danny Garcia, who won a decent amount of belts.
Yeah.
Then you got Cunningham. Cunningham won one in 07, 08, right?
Yeah.
He won
It's Matty's boy.
I love
Tevin
USF.
Farmer, little stud, which his big thing was never too late Tevin
Yeah.
Farmer was like 8-4 in the beginning of his pro career, then reeled off a bunch and became a world champ, but a little guy, right?
Yeah.
Julian Williams,
Yeah.
not a big guy, about, like 140. He won the WBA IBF in 2019.
Tony
And then you got
Thompson.
Stephen Fulton, who's the current champ for
Yeah.
WBO. He's a small guy, but literally big guys. Besides like B Hop and maybe Danny's not big, but B Hop and Cunningham.
Danny was pretty big at one time. He was pretty big. He was,
Who?
but Danny Garcia. He had
Danny got up to 154. He fights at 54.
Oh, you're saying like big, like heavy. Okay, I thought.
I
you
mean
meant,
like size.
big
No, like big
popularity.
guys in the sport.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we really haven't had one since since 2000. The only one's been Cunningham.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how big is
Tony,
Cunningham?
and Tony Thompson.
Not a world champ.
You're right. He's not a world champ. You're right.
Not a world champ.
He fought Klitschko,
Guaranteed.
but he wasn't a world champ. You're right.
How big is Cunningham? Because we met Cunningham when I came.
So he
he's a big dude.
Cunningham is probably arguably one of the best cruiserweights of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But then there was
heavy.
no money at cruiserweight. There was just
None.
he was fighting guys. He was fighting the Tomas Domax.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he was fighting the Tomas Domax. He was fighting the Jean-Marc, whatever the French fucking guy's name was.
Yeah, but there's no money.
It wasn't money.
None.
So he moved up to heavyweight. He fought, dude. Fury says it to this day.
The hardest person that's ever hit him.
Yeah,
really?
As a little guy.
Steve
I didn't realize
Cunningham,
that.
Said that.
hardest
On
person
Rogan,
that's
he said
ever.
that. He was the hardest guy to ever hit him, and he said,
Yeah.
"This guy from Philly, Steve Cunningham. How fucking nuts is
Yeah,
that?"
dude, and Steve Cunningham, if you want to watch it, it's a very controversial knockout that Tyson Fury wins by because he shivered him he was hitting him with the forearm. He never landed a punch. It was very much.
It's a fight.
It was a
fight.
It was a fight in England,
and it's very Fury-esque to win a fight like that in England. Of just like
yeah, it was young Fury.
Stomp on his
too.
knobs, and you're like,
Young
what?
Fury.
Oh, we don't even know what that means.
Yeah, but yeah, so no, yeah, so there hasn't been a world champion for a long time.
A bigger guy. Yeah.
Okay, so why are we bringing this up, Steve?
I was bringing it up and talking because I was kind of. It makes me sad that Gabe was never, he's never a world champ.
No.
But like the guy has been in the ring and beat guys, and it just, I don't know. It makes me sad.
He's world class for sure.
Oh yeah, for
world
sure.
class. He
Just never. So it just never broke for him, right?
But
he
also
just never got the right break.
Think of what the weight class he's had to live in with Triple G's there, Canelo's there, right? Like Danny Jacobs was there, right? Like all of these guys are there, and he's just like he's had the content. Like, dude, he's been in the game a long time, and the fact that he's still in it and still going and like still competing at the highest level and knocking guys out and having the knockout of the year says a lot. Like he is legit a legit fighter.
Well,
and
gamer, lifer,
dude, he's got
Pro.
the best saying in the history of boxing. It's the best saying ever, is that if you don't fucking love it, don't fucking do it. Enough said. So okay.
Yep, amen.
So we're coming to the top of time. This was another just killer great show, I think. I mean, our numbers speak for themselves. How you doing? So yeah, coming to the top of time. Before we roll out of here, the 44th father, the 44th fanatic, 44th's favorite son, Bern Polatski. Anything you'd like to say to the legions of the 44th faithful?
No, it's just nice to be back. I'm actually in 44 right now, hence the Polatski pop in.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm back home, and just for a day or two, just handling some business.
Very cool.
Nice to be here. Have a lovely Thanksgiving, everyone, coming next weekend.
Very nice.
And if you're in the York area, come get fucked up at White Rose because I'm trying to make that cash.
Yeah. Bern Polatski will be doing a loop as a bartender at the White Rose in York, PA on the night before Thanksgiving next Wednesday. So yeah, come see him. Very cool. All right. Endo's favorite son, the strongest of stems, Schwap game, Steve Cabot. Anything you want to say to the cult of Cabot before we roll out of here?
With all that fight talk this week, we got Philly's own Sean Brady putting his undefeated record up as the co-main event on UFC Las Vegas 43 against Michael Chiesa. And if people don't know his name, he's the guy who was on the bus when Connor picked up the cart and threw it through the window. Khabib
Oh, shit.
He was
Yeah.
on the bus and got fucking glass in his eyeball and had to
Oh, he's
pull out
the
of
guy who
his
got
fight
cut.
and didn't get fucking paid because that fucking moron threw a goddamn hand truck into a window.
Yeah.
But Chiesa's a absolute top 5 in the world, absolute top 10, arguably top 5. So if and remember Brady, who's from the Northeast and trains with Daniel Gracie down in Philly, has never lost as an amateur and is 14-0 as a pro and has beaten the living shit out of guys in the UFC so far. And he's ranked, I think, 12th in the world right now. So this is a big, big step for him. He wins this. He's the new talk of the town.
Nice. Good. Love it. All right. Yeah. Support the local guys,
And
especially
Patrick
the local
Sabatini,
fighters.
who also trains there, will be fighting on that card too. But he's like a 135 pounder.
Yeah, that's your guy you told us about. Yeah. Nice.
Sabatini.
All right.
That's the one I was talking about was Polatski. He just won in Abu Dhabi.
Okay. Yeah.
Polatski was just in Abu Dhabi on the last card and won.
Damn, look at that,
Daniel
man.
Gracie's killing it.
Support your Philadelphia guys. You know, like
Yep.
the Philadelphia fight scene's always been really big, and it
And
remains that way.
the South Philly Rocky that I sent you is supposed to fight tomorrow night.
So
Sonny Canto.
Sonny Canto is, if you look him up, he's fighting tomorrow night. They're calling him the new Rocky. He's a heavyweight boxer. So check him out. Okay.
And he said the street he grew up on was one of the streets that they filmed Rocky running down. How funny is that?
I mean, you know, I hope he does well. I hope he's a world champion, brings it back here,
Sounds like a hater.
No. So, all right. Well, we're coming to the top of time. This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast, Weekend Poppin'. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the Strong Stem Steve Cabot, the Bad Boy Bern Podcast. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please get my wife out of my hair and like and subscribe. Once again, this is the Working Perspectives Podcast, Weekend Poppin'. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Thanks. See you.